Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the last game of round 3 in the Six Nations 2023 competition. It is a huge one. France versus Scotland. Both of these sides would love to get this win. France, this is a must win for them though. They currently find themselves sitting in 4th. They can walk away from this game anywhere between that 4 and 5 points. They'll get themselves still half a shot at finishing on a high in the Six Nations. Whereas Scotland, we've seen Ireland were able to get themselves that victory over the Italians. Plus 51 is the points differential, but that's not the one to look at just at this very moment. It is that 15 points. Scotland, if they win this game, they'll end up on 14. They win it with a bonus point, which includes scoring 4 tries against a very strong French side who have kind of got a little bit of the walking wounded look to them at the moment with the way they've started their Six Nations. Scotland can do that. Then the next week's game between Ireland and Scotland is well and truly set up to be an absolutely awesome one. Looking through at the French starting lineup, it will be Bailly, Marchand, and Hoyas in the front row. I think I've mispronounced that tight head prof's name. Flemont and Willemse going to be the locks. Geelong, Olivon, and Aldred, the loose forward trio. Dupont and Intermac as the 19 combo. Mofana and Galfiku starting in as the midfield. Demortier out on one wing, Damien Pinot out on the other, and Thomas Ramos at fullback. They are just absolutely flying the ball onto the field with that little car. They always have the best RC cars at rugby games for some reason. Noticed that recently. Pierre Gorman, Turner, and Ferguson as the front row. Gray and Gilchrist, 4-5. Ritchie, Watson, Ferguson, the loose forward trio. Then it is White, Russell, Tui Pilotu, Hugh Jones, Duan van der Merwe, a man in some brilliant form for this year's Guinness Six Nations, Kyle Steyn, and Stuart Hogg, who has got the ball in hand, and he is about to kick this one off. Now, just making sure everyone is ready for this match up, I should say. Luckily, the voice is still slightly here. We've done a lot of commentary over the weekend. This match, it's the last union game that we have got till next Friday. Big run from Geelong, who starts this matchup at number 6. It's interesting because the Welsh currently got themselves 0 points on the board. France are sitting there on I believe they are on 5 currently. England also find themselves sitting on the 10. So France are caught in the middle. And I want to, geez, that's a big shot on Geelong straight away by Grant Gilchrist. Now it's going to be a line out for Scotland, 45 metres out from the French line. And also not bad with the French pronunciations. Here we go, says Mr. Novelbro. And this could be a classic if Edwards hasn't sorted his defence out, says Eric. Now, nice pass from Scotland, all falling into the tackle again. It looks quite slippery underfoot at the moment for these two sides. Finn Russell, first receiver on the left-hand side. Crashes at Fiku. Scotland, they'll be looking for this early momentum. Like I mentioned, if they want to be tying somewhere around that same points, that looked very forward. But they're going to say it is play on just for now on the halfway line. Russell now trying to go through the gap. Nice step from the number 13, Hugh Jones. Now White goes to Jamie Ritchie, the skipper of the Scots. Ferguson has to play half, looking off to the left-hand side now. Quick hands from George Turner, gives it off to Pierre Schulman. We actually saw prop to hooker to prop there, all of the front row getting involved for the Scottish. Now nice pass on the outside, almost through a gap, but it's going to be knocked on by the Scottish. Had more of the position in the first 2 minutes of this contest. And also saw you didn't live stream the URC, says Yandri. Now that is true. We didn't end up getting to do that game as we still had to set up the Six Nations live streams and also all of the Sevens live streams that were going to be taking place. But I did see in that game, the Sharks did get defeated by Ulster, 31 points to 24. The penalty here early goes to France on the halfway line against Duan van der Merwe for not releasing. A good low tackle, driving him backwards early, Anthony Geelong. And they know that they have to try and shut Duan van der Merwe pretty much out of this game. Because as soon as he starts finding momentum, we've seen some of the classic tries he scored recently. And could be riding another one. And then here, future low from the Philippines. Come on, Scotland, says Sassy Toll. And there's a welcome in. What time is it in the Philippines at the moment, Sassy? I want to say it's probably about midnight. somewhere around there, and I'm up. Come on, Scotland, says the Tractor Sports. Are you keen for half time, Tony? Do let me know. You don't have to if you don't want to. Just if you're keen for a chat, let me know. We can make it happen. And yeah, Lions beat Glasgow Warriors 35-24 at 11 p.m. Okay, so I wasn't too far off. Nice time for a game of the Six Nations on a Sunday. Thrown in by Julien Mochon. 22 metres out. France trying to go for this rolling maul, and it is curving slightly. It's like they've broken off the back. That is going to be Julien Mochon again. Now Dupont goes to the left. Here come the French. Rialre. And they'll be also searching for their own bonus points. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see about 9 or so tries in this matchup if both sides end up just allowing the other side through their defensive lines, as both will just be throwing everything at it. Damien Penaud now, 5 metres out from the line here for France. Dupont now goes across. Here comes the big man Flamand. Close to the try line, straight out in front as well. So it would be a nice easy kick if they can get over. And Bailly now less than a metre between the French and the line. Mofana was on this near side. Dupont decides to go to the top instead. One of his big forwards. That's going to be the advantage for offside. Dupont manages to find the offload now to Mofana. Almost through. Good defence from Scotland again. Now Dupont, wide cutout pass. And Romain Intermac, of all players, scores the first try of the matchup for the French in the first 5 minutes of the contest. Good evening, Hamish. Ready for France versus the Scottish Barbarians, says Jossie. It's going to be an entertaining game. And it also kind of is the prelude for next week when we get to see Wales versus Italy. That is the one at the moment that people are saying could be quite a close game. Alongside that, it is going to be Scotland versus Ireland, top of the table clash, perhaps, depending on how this game ends. And then France taking on the English. And those are always quite classic games of rugby. Scots have some heavy hitter international matchups in the run up to the Six Nations, to be fair. And Fiji also got them worked up by pushing their line. So plenty good vital experience there. Says Mr. Give the ball to Duan. Says Bolt doesn't steal. He's had it once so far, and he did end up giving away the not releasing penalty in the process. And that's what France have to do. They have to shut him down, because as soon as they don't, he's probably going to score a try. Vive la France, says Thibaut. I feel like I'm pronouncing that slightly wrong, so I do apologize. That ball bags is Distracted Sports. And if it's raining tries, it'll be quite a auspicious day indeed. Auspicious is a fun word. 5.5 minutes. The kick is successful from Thomas Ramos. I'm French as well. So how would I pronounce your name? Because, yeah, the Kiwi accent, I'd say probably Thibault or something like that, but I don't think that is the case. It might be Thibault or something along those lines. Funny thing about that phrase, Scotland Rugby sell ball bag boxer shorts, briefs in the merch store. There you go. That's something I had no idea about. You learn something new even every day, I should say. Geelong, he seems to just not care if he gets smashed back in a tackle. He'll throw himself 110%. Don't pronounce the H. So it is Tibald. Tibau, maybe? Somewhere around there. Sorry if I'm really butchering this. I do apologise. Kick into touch from France from deep inside of their own 22. So now the Scottish will have themselves the line out on the halfway line. George Turner about to throw this one in. Time is off. Player is down. Is that what they've just said? Who's down in the background? Just checking on the player. Who is that? It's down to a knee. Oh, Geelong. Well, of course it is, because he just went straight into the defensive line. It's an HIA by the looks of it. Not looking too flash. But the thing with that, okay, so the medic is going like this, saying he needs an HIA. Geelong's going, go away. I want to do this line out. I'm fine. And now the medic's kind of gone, the medic's taking part in the line out. What's he doing? He's going to the referee. He's having a chat with him. He's saying that he needs an HIA. So what's going on? The medic forgot that they were actually out there on the rugby field. He was just like, hey, ref, what are you up to at the moment? What are your plans for later? Oh, yeah, that's Grant Gilchrist again. Now, that's the second time that that's happened, and it's actually going to be right on the chin. They might even check this one. That might be something more serious than just a play on. How hard is it to watch the LA Sevens? Completely forgot about it. Says Yanri. Now, it depends on whereabouts you are in the world. So Sky Sport 1 has it here in New Zealand. But the World Rugby Sevens website has got it depending on where you are in the world as well. Come on, Scotland, says Ollie's World. That's big contact because it's a ricochet of Matt Fagerson. So Matt Fagerson makes the initial tackle on the shoulder. His is fine, although his was almost riding up as well. And then Gilchrist charges in, no arm wrap whatsoever. This is at least a yellow card here. If not, maybe something a little bit more. He's had his nose rearranged there for Geelong. Yeah, the time zones are nuts, man. Says Jan Rynel. And Uruguay beat South Africa in a pool game at the Los Angeles Sevens. They did, but South Africa narrowly sneaking through the group stage. So now their game is coming up against Fiji, and that is in a couple hours' time, or about 3.5 hours' time, somewhere around there. Greetings, Hamish, says Mountains of Asylum. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing well. We may just be witnessing the first card of the day. That is on his nose. That's going to be at least a yellow, maybe a red. He threw the shoulder directly to the head, is the comment that the referee has made. Yeah, and can you beat Australia, says Yanri now. High degree of danger, direct shoulder to the head. It's going to end up as a red card against Scotland here. Now, I might quickly need reminded. I know Super Rugby, we've got the 20-minute red card rule. In the Six Nations, it's the whole match, isn't it, that you're red carded for. That will be a massive, massive blow for the Scottish. We saw the first time that Gilchrist went in for the challenge. That last time was quite high as well, that I mentioned about. But that time got him square on the bridge of the nose. And also the red card now comes out of the pocket, matches the headgear that Gilchrist was wearing. And that's a massive one because you can see he's almost brought to tears here as Scotland need this win for their Six Nations campaign. Yes, it's not a complete necessity, but it's about a 95% needed win here. And there is a game is as good. They blow the whistle to end the game. Says Yanri now. Now it's going to be kicked into touch. Geelong has been taken off the field for his head injury assessment. And to replace him, it is Crew. He's made his way out there. 7 minutes into the game, Gregor Townsend, you can see the disappointment on his face. Line out throw for the French, Julien Marchand. Now looking to go for the rolling ball. No attempt to wrap shoulder to the head. Correct decision, readers, for the game. And the Six Nations says Mountains of Asylum. So yeah, it's not just a 20-minute one that you get another man back after. It's going to be a massive blow for the Scottish for about 90% of this match. It's a little chip in behind attempted from France. That ball sits up favourably. He ends up somehow staying in the field of play. Stuart Hogg managing to grab that ball for Scotland. Counter ruck from France. Ball bounces out onto the side of Dupont, who now slings it wide. Nice pass there from Oliphant. He's got numbers on his outside. Galficou, one more. The French are in. And that'll be the second of the match. De Mortier has been able to score. Rita Ban is likely to come, says Youngry now. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Grant Gilchrist back for the rest of the Six Nations, more than likely. And the French making the most of that man advantage with the kick in behind it. Set up, stayed in the field of play. Stuart Hogg read it well to be able to line it up. And this is a horror show, says Distracted Sports. Momentum continues this way. We could see France not just have a bonus point, but I'm just going to quickly show that points differential for the Six Nations. As you can see there, France is sitting with a -8 points differential. So to meet in the middle for Scotland, you got to go 34. Half of it's about 17, and half of that, about, I don't know, maths. It's hard to do maths at this hour of the morning. I assume that France, if they win this game by 20 points, though, their points differential will be +20, and Scotland's would be +14. So if they win this game by about 17 or 18 points, France, they will actually end up overtaking Scotland on the Six Nations table. That is if they get that bonus point, which they should if they win by that margin. But then they're also, the more tries they can get here, the more points differential they get, and they can find themselves above England, find themselves starting to lurk around about that Irish mark as well. I think my maths was well and truly off there. I apologise for that. The kick is unsuccessful, hits the post, bounces off to the left-hand side. And also dodgy shot, Scotch should just call the game. Oh man, this could be a one-sided game, says Sassy Toa. Maybe it is good for Uruguayan rugby union. They can be competitive in sevens to help their 15s game grow even more too. Yeah, it's great to see the likes of Uruguay, Spain, even Chile to a certain extent, having a couple good performances in their group stage. Yes, they were unlucky a few of their games, but those invitational sides that get added onto the seventh circuit know exactly what they need to do to make people start talking about them and maybe eventually get themselves that opportunity of taking it on full time. That's going to be a sealing off penalty against France straight off kickoff. So now Scotland will have themselves the penalty 20 metres out from the French line. Right, Finn Russell's going to be kicking for the corner. They've got to. At this point, being down by 12. Barnes didn't even read France against Ireland. People said he is good for the game. Okay. And why is Red given now all of a sudden? CZ Spock, because Wayne Barnes isn't refereeing this matchup. Quite a quite a simple solution. And also, but to be fair, Scotland has never ever met or have never ever been a good rugby nation team, says Yari now. And this year did look like it might have been their big opportunity. And don't get me wrong, they can fire back from here. Yes, they're 12-0 down early on. You all right, Barnes messed up. Should have been a red then, just as it was today. There's Mountains of Asylum. And Yui Antonio did end up with that match ban as well after that match had taken place. I think it was about 3 matches or 6 weeks or something he ended up with. Now it's thrown in by Scotland. The rolling maul will now start. George Turner with the ball at the back. Now trying to creep this one forward just that little bit further. The Scottish, they're never going down without a fight, no matter how much there is against them. Ben White, that's close to an illegal clean out, but he just managed to time it perfectly. No players for the Scots in there. It's going to be the advantage, though, to Scotland. And they get themselves the penalty 5 metres out from the line. I feel bad for Scotland a few years ago. There would not even be a free kick. The players need to be protected, and recent rule changes have opened up the game. New rules are a positive change. There's Mountains of Asylum. Yeah, we haven't seen Geelong return to the field yet, so I'm not sure what the extent is of his injury, whether or not he has ended up with a failed HIA or if they are still having it happen. You'd assume he'd be out there almost, though, by now, had he passed. Right, they're actually TMO checking this. This might be for the Ben White clean out here. So Scotland asked the question of, is it going to be possibly an illegal clean out? Now, I believe this is for the Ben White challenge. Boom. Now, Mohamed Hawass has struck Ben White in the head there when he's down low. Is it head on head? Yeah, head on head. Tell you what, she might be another yellow at least. I think we're going to end up with a game of rugby league here soon. And red, distracted sports. This is going to be interesting, isn't it? If both sides are playing with 14 for the rest of the game, I already mentioned it could be a tri-fest. Imagine if these sides have more gaps in their defensive lines. Ironic, one country that actually invented the game itself being surpassed by everyone else. There's Sammy Souza. So, he had, tell you what, Ben White has somehow, if he gets back up, he's got a tough noggin on the boy. He's clearly played the 9. Now they want to check this one from another angle. See, that's a flying headbutt almost. So direct head contact, I think it's going to be a red card as well here. Yeah, another red and a ban. Simply red. They're going to be running low on tight head props because Haas will be the second French prop to receive a red card and possibly a ban. Oh, that's a big call from the Georgian referee. He said, I'm seeing head-on-head contact, but I'm not seeing it as a high degree of danger. Okay, Carl Dixon, that was the assistant referee, has said to the Georgian referee, I think you need to think about that one again because I've seen him coming at full speed. So I think this red card almost was going to be a yellow if the Georgian referee was going to be in charge. But Carl Dixon has upgraded it. Direct head contact. It's a red card. We're playing 14 on 14. Ice is going, me? What did I do? But he will be off the field for the rest of the game as well. Well, that kind of evens out the odds a little bit, doesn't it? And if you confidently say because Barnes not the referee, then what is the law then? Says Esbok. Well, it's just because, like you were saying, why in Wayne Barnes's instance that he ended up not giving a red, why haven't they given it in this game? And the simple answer is because Wayne Barnes isn't refereeing. If Wayne Barnes was doing it, who knows what the call would have been? That was not straight from Scotland. But the point you were making was Wayne Barnes made the wrong call. So because of Wayne Barnes making a wrong call, this referee, in your eyes, is supposed to be Wayne Barnes. Or now that he's not Wayne Barnes, it's just a wrong call from Wayne Barnes. You know? Right, another change having to be made by the tight head prop. Okay, Geelong will not be returning to the field, so he has failed his HIA. And now the French have to make another decision. Everybody agrees Wayne Barnes are the worst referee in World Rugby at the moment. Says Yari now. And finally, a referee with some sense, and ba-boom, says Distracted Sports. Right. Who do they go with? They've actually mentioned that Falatea, they put in Haas in the starting lineup because they wanted a little bit more stability at scrum time. And also the Georgian referee with that comment, not a high degree of danger, clearly needs an HIA assessment. There's 100% red, says Mountains of Asylum. And fair play to Carl Dixon. And also, I know originally, yes, the Georgian referee, he did say not a high degree of danger, but still fair play to him for actually listening to the other referees. Like when you're the head referee, there's times where we've seen guys in the past just pretty much ignore the rest of the refereeing crew. He was like, okay, yeah, I can see what you're saying now. It's a red card. Rather than just going, no, I'm right. It's a yellow. The ball put in for the French. Big push there from France, and they win the penalty as well. So the replacement was Gregory Aldrich going off the field for Sipali. And a massive push from them. Doesn't seem like it these days with the Emerald Isle itself being top dog at the moment, only to be undone in the World Cup quarterfinals. But hoping to end that jinx. And actually, you're probably right, says Epa. And also, Yanri is smoking crack, says Epa Tongan. And England will always beat Australia and South Africa more often than New Zealand. It was actually Galfiku who helped push on the side of that scrum. Now, he will be able to tell all of his back friends that he was able to help push the forwards towards a penalty. And Van der Merwe must make a big impact. Yeah, if they can't find the ball to him, that was just in touch from Antoine Dupont. So now it will be the Scottish line-out throw. But yeah, if they can't find Duan van der Merwe in this back line, the other real option for them, I believe, is actually Kyle Steyn. Mainly because they'll be doing that much to try and protect Duan van der Merwe's wing, that maybe that lures in an extra player from the other side of the field. And then if you can get it out wide to Kyle Steyn, that might be actually where Scotland find their success. We do see, actually, my apologies, Geelong has come back out onto the field. He just wanted a bit more of a spell before they put him back out there. He's chilling on the bench, just watching on. Unless they tried a second HIA just to be sure. No, surely not. They must have just been waiting for the first or the right stage. And also, okay, Andrew, calm down, mate, says Stephen. And Ireland going to win the slam. I was wondering where Andrew's comment was, but it has just come through. Ireland going to win the slam, and we're number one in the world. They are at the moment, Ireland, and they are certainly looking good for 2023's World Cup. The tough side of the draw, they've got Scotland and South Africa in their group. One of those sides will be missing out. Ireland certainly don't want it to be them. Now, Finn Russell, 40 metres out from his own line, will kick it back and behind. Is it out on the full or is it a 50-22? Right. The Mortier is saying that it was out on the full. The referee is saying that it might have bounced in the field of play. They will check this one again, though, just to make sure. Oh, tell you what, that stayed in the field of play. And that is brilliantly done from Finn Russell. The 50-22 for Scotland. Currently find themselves 12 points down after the first 15 minutes, but perhaps this could be their first chance at some points. Might as well start playing touchies. Says a Moonstone. It's true. Look at England record against South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. They way better than Scotland, Wales, and Ireland and Italy. Says Yanri now. You must be English, mate. Don't worry, pal. Yous are decent, says Andrew. And also, I'm Irish, one game at a time, says Stephen. It's a good attitude to have, really, because, like, that's the thing. Sometimes it's very tricky to know what's going to happen in the world of rugby. Like, no one 2 years ago predicted we'd have so many contenders for this 2023 World Cup. What happened for the first red card? It was the direct shoulder from Grant Gilchrist to the head of Anthony Geelong. And didn't you say George was joining you? I did, but he pulled out. So it is just me for this one. And just don't see Ireland beating South Africa in the World Cup because South Africa in a World Cup is another beast, says Yanri now. But yeah, it was the shoulder to the head of the French number 6. So it ended up with the red card. And then the second one was Hawass taking out the number 9 Ben White for Scotland with almost a headbutt, just with the way that the contact ended up happening. And Springboks will win the World Cup again, says Frederick. Nicely taken by Scotland now. George Turner starting to roll here. France trying to defend it, but a lot of the French players have ended up on the side of Scotland reaching out. Oh, now Xander Fagerson, has he got a long enough arm? He's going, no. He tried to reach out as far as he could and just ended up missing out. And also, we have got there, why don't you turn the camera so we all can see the game? I might as well turn on my radio. Don't want to see your face. I want to see the game. Well, then I think you should fire up your radio, Nadine, because copyright is a thing and we don't want to get sued because I know you ain't paying the bill. That one just short of the line for Xander Fagerson. Or just a little bit in it. Drop, says Attractive Sports. And yes, South Africa may do a double like New Zealand. And like when we lost to Japan, says Moonstone. Morning, Irish, says Blues Nate. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. And hope you are excited for this late night game. Hopefully you've been getting plenty of sleep as well. Right, they've called it as a knock on. It's just short of the line. Then the ball did end up losing that control. It went into in goal, so it's a goal line dropout, they've said, rather than the 5 minutes scrum. And top of the morning, Amy and chat. Work time. Here's the snooze. We have got some sevens coming up later on, ladies and gentlemen. In 3 hours' time, Samoa will be taking on the New Zealanders. Red cards ruining the game. So which side do you think have had the game ruined for them more with both sides getting a red? Now it's going to be Steppen. Stuart Hogg moving up to 35 metres out from the line. Ben White now goes off to the right-hand side. Nice short ball to Pierre Scorman, the big man, making a few extra metres. It doesn't sound like there's too many Scottish supporters in attendance, unfortunately, for them, but they'll certainly be wanting as much support as they can get. Xander Fagerson, sorry. Hits it up. Now, Finn Russell going to Richie Gray. Slowly making the meters. That was a big shot coming in from the replacement Ty Heprop, who was on the field for Hawassa's red. Finn Russell tries to kick him behind, charged down by the French. In fact, I don't know if I call it charge down. I think it just smacked one of them in the mush. That one will go into touch, though, using the territory well for Russell after that first unsuccessful kick. Morning Blues, been proven all the years you pick too early in the World Cup, you don't win it, says Frederick. And yeah, you never want to pick before a World Cup. There's Yanri now. That one's going to be kicked downfield on the halfway line now for Scotland. Stuart Hogg will be busy throughout this matchup as the French have already shown that they are able to break that Scottish line when they get it right. But Scotland, looking like their forwards might be the key here in this battle. Another run from Xander Fagerson. Russell going off now. That'll be the big man, Richie Gray. We haven't seen Duan Fundermerva touch that ball ever since he gave away that early penalty stolen by France. It's going to be a runaway try. No one back there for the Scots, and that will be the third try of the match now for the French. And Thomas Ramos, the man who's gone through. Can we crazy? I put Finn Russell as the number 110 in the world. Anyone think anyone else? There's Jack Lewis. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because there are very different styles between quite a few. Even in the Six Nations, like you look at someone like an Intermac compared to Finn Russell, then you look at Johnny Sexton. That was a great interception from Thomas Ramos. He was smiling and laughing all the way to the try line. And Now, after 19 minutes, 17 points to nil in this matchup between France and Scotland. Solid 9 hours of sleep. I'm up and ready. Hope you had a good rest, boss. Let's go, Scotland. Says Nate. Yeah, I've managed to squeeze a few hours in every once in a while throughout the weekend. Probably still about 10 hours short of what I should be on, but it's all right. That's what they make the week for. Pole B says Eppa. And is it a good match? I mean, there's certainly plenty of entertainment happening in it in terms of some of the runs that we're seeing come on Scotland from Gary as well. I think the way Finn controls the game is amazing. The whole of Scotland's team is based on Russell. I think he's world class. Says Jack and Paul B. Most important matchup will be Tonga versus Scotland. Oh, okay. I thought they were going to be checking something there, but they did say it's going to be all right. And the kick is successful, making the score now 19 points to nil in favour of France. And France channeling their Irish frustration and taking it out on Scotland, says Sammy Souza. Anyone see a Scotland comeback? I mean, if it was sevens, yes, because we've seen some teams make some very good comebacks when they've been down by 19 in a game of sevens. Union's a bit trickier. But if Scotland, I mean, they've had a couple chances inside of the 22. They just haven't quite been able to convert it into any points as of yet. But if Scotland score, I would say once or twice before half-time, it's charged down, goes into touch. And France will now have the line out just outside of their own 22. Yeah, if Scotland are able to score twice, I would say, in the next 20 minutes, they've got a crack. But they very much need to stop France from scoring any more points, which is going to be tricky to do. Come on, France, do it for Ireland, says Connor. And yes, Scotland was the unlucky team to face a wounded French team, says Yanri now. And I think that was the case with everyone expecting a big performance from France soon after two. I mean, it sounds harsh to say lackluster, but France were close to losing that game up against the Italians. Then they did end up losing their last week's match up against the Irish. Well, sorry, a couple weeks ago for the Six Nations comp. Finds touch, and now 38 metres out from the line, Scotland have got themselves another line out. Yeah, bad idea to overhype Finney there, says Sammy Souza, and Scotland have to get back into the game soon, says Boulders and Steel. Now George Turner throws the ball in, nicely taken by Richie Gray. Good step, Tui Pilotu, first carry that we've seen from that man. And number 12 for this matchup, Finn Russell once again going for the kick in behind, looking for the territory. It's going to just about go into touch, but well taken by the French number 11, Dumortier. Dumortier. It's the one that always gets me as well. Dupont now. And to put this one up for the box kick, rolling it past three French forwards. There we go. Has kicked it. And that one is not into touch. So Finn Russell taking it on the halfway line. They avoid the one for the move, actually lobbing it over the top of him. But now Kyle Stain decides he wants to have a bit of a crack at the French defensive line. Ben White gets that one out quickly. Nice inside ball. Here comes Duan van der Merwe. Shut down early by Serovai. White goes back to Xander Fagerson again. There's a player taken quite late there. Kyle Stain. Tackled by Olivon. You never know. You just never know what you get from France on the day, says Gary. Oh, Finn Russell through. He's got Tui Pilotu with him. He decides to use him. Great tackle made. Was that settled by again? No, it was actually Mo Fana. But now Pierre Schurman. Quick hands. Here comes Scotland. Duan van der Merwe. Oh, now this could be close to him being into touch. And from his reaction, I believe he might be out. And I think it was Geelong who put in the big shot. Duan van der Merwe. Not quite. Oh, no. Geelong looks like he's injured himself again here. And here's me praising Russell when he throws the intercept try pass. I sound stupid, says Jack. Wasn't his best moment, but other than that, he's been not too bad. Oh, just foot on the line. So it's going to be no try due to that. But I think they're going to have a look at Geelong's challenge. Is that what I heard the referee say? Time is off. Like Geelong, though, he's already had a head knock. Now he's got a very sore knee. Dupont's down with some sort of either shoulder or some sort of upper body injury by the looks of it. And man, the South African boys doing everything at the moment, says Yarini now. And Scots will come back in the second half, says Frederick. Challenge, putting the body on the line again. Need to get one back here, Scots. Says Distracted Sports. Yeah. Minimum one try in the next 17 minutes needed for Scotland here. It would be quite the comeback if they were able to do so. Yeah, Scotland has never ever beaten New Zealand. Says Yanri now. Looks like they've got a sub being made soon, maybe for Geelong. He's not looking flash. Okay, player is out, so we carry on. It sounds like they are going to be replacing him, but it was the nice inside ball. Dummy by Finn Russell. Didn't use it in the end and then went with the pass to Tui Pelote. But now Scotland find themselves 5 metres out from the line. Nice inside ball to Kyle Steyn. 2 metres out now. Scotland looking aggressive here. Only a few out from the try line. The captain drops his head. The advantage goes the way of the Scots. Now, on to the left-hand side. Russell, inside ball to Kyle Steyn. Again, they've been able to stop him. They can go around the side on this far side of the field now. Inside ball. Turner's going to be held up, I believe. So they will go back for the initial penalty 5 metres out. Also, we have got there, David has said, my greatest happiness is the 64,000 bi-weekly profit I get consistently from my dollars, 15,000 investment despite the economic fluctuation. So what you're saying is you backed France to get a red card, yeah? And you managed to make the good money. But then if you back Scotland to get a red card, you probably made double, didn't you? Doubled or nothing, David. Be your nickname. Rugby is funny. People fancied Scotland today, winning 2 so far, but 6 months ago, France at home to Scotland, everyone would have given Scotland no chance, and rightly so. France at home to Scotland is a winner, says Jack Lewis. And come on, who scored for the French? So the French so far, they have had the try of, we did see Romain Intimac get the first try. We did also see the try from Dumortier and then Thomas Ramos. Now, I know it's possible. I'd appreciate it if you show me how to go about it, says Anita. Is that his other account? The greatest comeback of all time is imminent, says, is it Seamus or Seamus? Oh, we'll tell you what, that's the first one. Nice pass off to Hugh Jones in the middle of the park. Scores it, Scotland strike. I love your face, Hamish. Stay on the screen, says Rufin. Yes, says Distracted Sports. Dupont asking for something there. I'm not sure what he asked for other than maybe some advice of how to stop that set play. Nice pass. Flat ball straight through. And Hugh Jones gets the first try of the matchup. I guess very few teams have beaten France in Paris. And they last lost, at home to Fiji in 2018. Yeah, it's been quite a wee while. That kicks over from Finn Russell. 7 points to 5 now. France still with the lead, but Scotland, they've got points on the board. That's the main thing. And Sia Khaleesi said the cricket T20 women's final, says Attell. Now, I did see that Australia were batting first, but I haven't seen whether or not they got a decent total. I think they had about 11 for none off 1.5 overs. So Scotland, my blood, my homeland, and we'll never give up. Come on, boys, says Warren. And that's the thing. Even with that red card, Scotland were always going to be still trying their absolute best in this contest. They were never going to give up. You're being infested by parasite grifters, dude, says Justin. Yeah, David's on a bit of meth. Yes. He's got a 5-minute break to think about all the great investments that he has made. Now it's going to be kicked high, just outside of the 22. Richie Gray takes it nicely. Mr. Jones, that pass looked forward to me, says Connor Cahill. I think that might have been what Dupont was asking for, but they did end up looking at it and said that it was going to be all right. Now 27 minutes through this first half. Rolling the ball back. And Ben White looking for touch. Should end up finding it. No, right near the touchline. Thomas Ramos instead. Now we'll try and run this one back. Good tackle made on him on the halfway line. I believe it was Matt Fagerson this time. And jeepers, I feel like this game has had 80 minutes of action packed into the first 27 minutes. Yeah, we've had 2 red cards, 4 tries. I think it's not going to be the end of the action either. Beautiful offload from Charles Oliveron. Finds Flamand. Now Dupont. A lot of pressure on him. Still manages to find the pass away to Falatia, the replacement. Tight head prop. Now Ramos plays first receiver. Gives it off to Cyril Bay. He moves up to 22 out. Now Dupont Goes to Ramos again. Short ball. Nice spin from Damien Pinot. Now still driving. Good leg strength from the right winger. Making it to 15 metres out. If France score again, they will end up with a bonus point no matter what in this contest for the 4 tries. Being scored. Now nice wide pass to Galfiku. Finds himself playing 13 for this matchup and finds himself in a bit of a leg strength battle with Stuart Hogg, who almost was able to strip that ball away. I believe he did. Yes, brilliant work from the Scottish fullback. Scotland now just looking to hang on to this ball a couple metres out from their line. Now Springbok and I'll die Springbok. Demo was blind as a bat. There's Connor Cahill. Now Ben White. The ball downfield. That's a decent clearance for where they were on the field. And now France will have themselves another attacking line out about 20 metres from the line. We did see Cameron Walkie still got a sling or a cast on one of his wrists. I believe in Go France. Says Knowledge. There as well on District Sports. You should do the live streams. Says Xavier. The effective areas in the first half. A lot of the time, French have actually found themselves inside of their own half, but only conceding the 1 try compared to Scotland, who have conceded the 3. Miguel Fiku now. Good low tackle made by Finn Russell. Dupont offloads it up. Another good carry, but that was great work in the breakdown from Pierre Schoolman to almost get it back onto the side of the away side. Now Dupont back into the pocket. Drop kick attempt. He's shanked it badly. It's gone low. Is that desperation from France, or is that just part of the tactical game? Perhaps. But Romain Intermac really did not get that one correct. Leave it to pros like Hamish. Says Distractor Sports. Nice rip that ball out. And what's the Scots coming back? The French cannot play a full 80 minutes. Says Frederick. But it's a good kick downfield. Now France find themselves inside of their own 22. Off the 22 dropout of Scotland. Bit of a fumble from Russell. It did go backwards though. Now the pressure is on. Stuart Hogg passes back across the Russell, who will now kick it. Awkwardly bouncing ball goes over the head of the French player. Continues to roll, taking just a metre out. And Ramos it into touch. It's a good clearance. And now 42 out. Scotland have themselves the line out. And also, that's an awful drop goal attempt from Intermac. Yeah, I think the worst thing is not only was the angle off, I think it only went about 2 metres off the ground, but the accuracy was way out to the left. South African women's need 70 runs from 36 balls to win the World Cup. And what's up, Hamish? Says Carl, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Isn't this a one-sided affair with France winning the match ruthlessly? Says Knowledge. I mean, that's the thing, Scotland. I mentioned if they got 2 tries in this first half and stopped France from scoring again, they've still got a chance in this match. They're currently 25 metres out. Finn Russell's kicked that one downfield, kicks it into touch 5 metres out from the French line. So just playing the territory game at the moment. Don't know whether that's a maybe predetermined tactic that Scotland have had or whether or not that is just the plan that Russell's come up with on the spot. And shame Scotland got a red. Would have been very competitive, says Andrew. Although France also have a red card, I should mention. Both teams playing with 14 for the rest of this game. Oh, okay. Connor Chaos just said that one. Well, but I guess the big difference is Scotland are missing a lock. France are missing their prop as well. So I guess you wonder what that does to the line-out time for the Scots. I'd see that they have got their replacement number 19 on the field. Hope you're doing well, Hamish. What was the feeling like knowing your channel was getting or taking great care of by your VIPs? That was a very hard sentence to read, not from the way you wrote it, just my mouth wasn't working. But I have to say our mods are always very good on the channels, and also having that collaboration with Tractor Sports and 2 Cents, even though the Wi-Fi cut out during it, we're going to have to do it again this time with better Wi-Fi for myself. Now, rolling once again. 20 metres out from the line. Now Ben White goes back across. Nice step to Tuipulotu. Round the side. White snipes, makes an extra 15. Now France have to defend 5 metres out from their own line. Turner goes across again, just throwing. Johnny Gray. Oh, was it a knock on? It was. from George Turner. Mistake made. Now France have got themselves the advantage and a lot of space on this outside. Galfiku goes to Mofana, taken down, wasn't willing to pass that one. Counter ruck from Scotland, and that will become the penalty for the French. And if they keep it in the 22 and keep driving, Scotland have a shot at this. This French clearly have the advantage on the open field, says Tony. And also, I hope you're feeling, oh no, I read that one, didn't I? It's just a lot more interesting with 14 players aside here, having a player sent off from both teams. It means that it's a lot more even anyway, because 14 against 15 for 73 minutes would have been a very, very tough day at the office for Scotland against an already pretty tough side in France. But with France also getting that red card, it means that I guess we're back to an even playing field to a certain extent out there on the park. But nice run from Fiku, being able to get it from only about 10 metres out from their own line there, France making, say, about 15 metres. But then with that penalty, they have kicked it a lot further down the field. That line out wasn't the straightest, but it was actually drifting away from the side who retained it. France nicely passed off to Ramos, moves to 22 now. Tackles made. Only 6 minutes left in this first half. The French looking for their bonus point. They need one more try to be able to do so. Sirobai tackled there by Richie Gray around the side now. Falatia passes off to Flamand. Now Sirobai again. He's got a lot of pace for a big man. But he gets a bit of space. And now another big man who can move very well. Julien Marchand. The point or the advantage goes the way of France. They'll take that, and they will more than likely go for the 3 when they hear that whistle, because they went for a drop kick earlier on. Are you heading to Super Round? I didn't write that comment, but it's my name above. I see. Oh, yeah, he forgot the capitals, didn't he? That's a bit unfortunate. Well, this one, there we go. And also, Hamish, do you think Black Cats can save the test, or England can win? We cover day 4. We won't be covering day 4 more than likely, as we have got still the 7s that are going to be coming up in the near future. And this is like 2021. The red card was Wales' 16th man. Says Connor, and good to see Scotland have some points. And speaking of points, France are about to take 3 of them. Extend their lead to just a little bit further. Put them up to 22, and a 15-point margin could be on the cards heading into halftime. Do you reckon that France is the strongest rugby team after England, says Knowledge? Oh, a lot of people might say that England aren't the strongest team, but if you're looking at world rankings wise, which I know some people look at the world rankings and they consider that as the best indication of where sides are sitting currently, other people say they don't even want to look at the world rankings in terms of how everyone is matching up. But at the moment, France versus England, 2 weeks' time is going to be a very exciting one to see. And that kick's only just drifted over, but he's gone over nonetheless. That will make the score 22 points to 7 All Blacks. It's the strongest rugby team, says Coding. Oh, I don't know. A few good sides around the world at the moment. In New Zealand, when they get it right, they can be very effective. But when they don't get it right, we're starting to see a few more weaknesses in the AB's games as of late. Now kicked off long once again from Stuart Hogg. Big shot from Kyle Steyn. Smacking into Francois Cruz. Now counter ruck from Scotland. The turnover is good. They're looking to counter with try of their own here again. Now nice pass off to, I believe there was Hugh Jones in the midfield. Now White goes to Russell. Cut out pass to Stuart Hogg. Scotland in a good position on the field currently. Just before the end of the first half, Pierre Schoolman met by a wall of large French defenders. Finn Russell goes to Matt Fagerson. And see France are lurking for that turnover. We saw Charles Olivron have the attempt there. Duan van der Merwe once again shut down early by the French defence. Nice inside ball off to Johnny Gray. White goes to the left to Pierre Schoolman. Now Finn Russell. White cut out pass. Finds Stuart Hogg. They've said it's drifted forwards. Stuart Hogg's disappointed with how that one's gone. And it is crucial for Scotland to not concede any more points, so their defence has to improve. And it will be a Springbok and New Zealand final again, the World Cup, says Frederick. And they beat New Zealand on their home patch twice last season, and Yea Island is very dangerous. Or yeah, Island is very dangerous, and also Springboks. And it's crucial for Scotland to not concede any more points, so their difference has to, or their defence has to improve. If they don't concede again in the first half and they somehow get themselves another 7 points, second half's going to be heating up. Finn Russell, my God, he's having a shocker of a game. He's just so inconsistent, says Connor Cahill. Yeah, I think you put the mockers on him, Connor, when you said he was the best number 10 in the world. He's decided he's heard you and he's like, I don't want to be number one. I want to be about 2 or 3. I'll just have a bit of a rough one. The Pont now puts the ball into the scrum, 25 out from France's line here. Use the ball, call from the Georgian referee. They go to the short side. In fact, Finn Russell probably going to receive this ball back relatively soon to have another kicking chance, as they have been playing a territory game for a majority of this match. Yes, Scotland. Thomas Ramos takes the mark inside of the 22. I think it will be a tough game for us, Ireland, against Scotland. I think we will take them, and yeah, England as well. So I'm confident. Yep, the Irish, says Andrew. So it is now kicked downfield. Not a lot of meterage on the kick from France from inside of their 22. So now Scotland once again find themselves in a good position on the field. Natasha says hello. Hello, Natasha. You're doing well. And 80 minutes after the game, straight into the LA Sevens. And Hamish, why don't you cover more games with yesterday? Rugby Guy, his commentary is also good, says Coding. Rugby Guy, I assume you're talking Rugby Itch. But why don't we cover more games? We've done quite a few post-match reviews on the Brumbies versus Waratahs game. We did a little bit of a post-match chat, and by a little bit, I mean we talked for an hour alongside Tony of Distracted Sports. He has seen in the chat a few times as well. Now Finn Russell goes to Per Schoolman. Now Ben White off to the side again. Nice tackle made. And also, we've got exactly, they need to play the territory game, says Tony. Now, good run from Hugh Jones, the man who did score the first try of the match for Scotland. 30 seconds remain. Xander Fagerson passes off to Russell. Schoolman again. The props have been extremely busy for Scotland in the first 40. Russell goes across now to, it will be the captain, Jamie Ritchie. Ball's loose. They've managed to just get that offload away from Ben White, but the pressure. Mo Fana with the two-handed push onto Gray. I feel like that wasn't completely legal, but it is going to be play on just for now for the French. Into Mac. Now looking for the 50-22. The thing is, though, it is about to be blowing for halftime. Deep inside of the 22. Into touch he goes. Now, currently on the clock. Oh, they've taken it quickly, France. And Olivon, he might have just scored. They're going to have to check this one. Did they have time on the clock to still be able to take it? The time on the scoreboard for us said 40:08. The crowd don't like it. It's half time. So the quick tap taken, Olivon did manage to cross the line, but just a little bit after. Olivon not happy. He's going, but can I just have the try anyway? It was a good one. Referee says, no, you cannot. Okay, I can also hear the very strong Scottish accent. Or I think that was Jamie Ritchie just saying they're dragging us over the top of the ball rather than cleaning us out or something along those lines. Like he said, I have just sent that link as well, Tony. If you are keen for a bit of a chat, France can't seem to last the full 80 minutes. Scotland could win this if they are fit, says Sassy Towan. Quickly looking through at the benches for these two sides. We've already seen both teams making one change. That was due to the red cards on their respective sides. Falatia already out there for France. Johnny Gray already out there for Scotland. The replacements for France in those backs, Courier they've gone with, and also Jalibert. So only the two. Whereas whereas Scotland have actually done the same thing, going with the 6-2 split, Price and Kinghorn. So both sides heavily relying on the replacement forwards, whether it is going to be someone like a Jack Dempsey, Sekou Makalu, Talfa Fanua, another very good option. Barlow, I don't think we'll get a lot of time out there on the field. It's currently Julio Marchand doing quite nicely indeed. And Hamish South Africa women need 36 runs from 16 balls in order to win the Cricket World Cup final. Can they do it? I've cut it down quite a bit. 70 off 36, I think someone said they did need. So they're currently a little bit behind par, but there's a good chance that they could go on and win that one. It's been halftime for like 30 seconds. French fans need to get their heads in the game, says it was Connor Cahill. And also, how's it, Kiwi? Got some rest? I managed a few hours. Probably not as many as I should have still, but we're working on it. I think I'm going to end up sleeping at about maybe 8 p.m. tonight. So that actually would mean I'm up for another 13 hours or so. In fact, that's actually longer than 13 hours. That's about 15 hours. Maybe I'll have to rethink that because that is quite far in the future. I do end up staying up till that stage. But what we will do is we will go like this and like this. Add that as a banner as well. The reason we do that is because we've got a guest coming on very, very soon. And Rusty is the number one coach in the world and the best water boy in the world, says Frederick in there as well. But currently in this first half, we have seen more territory actually in the favour of Scotland, and they've been keeping France inside of their half for quite a bit of time. But the difference is France have had a couple good opportunities to break that line. We saw that interception pass that was probably, it was quite a crucial era from Scotland. And good crowds in Scotland today. Weather is good. Scotland need 3 more tries and the W, says Nate. And goodbye. And there says Christophe. Unless currently about probably, I'd say 5 to 10 more minutes of halftime we have got. And don't worry at all because we have got someone else coming on the channel right now. I can see him down in my bottom corner. You guys know him as either Tony or Distracted Sports. I will mention, I apologize if this man says any swear words, although he might be all right. At the moment, it's late night for us here in New Zealand. Nonetheless, Tony, ladies and gentlemen of Distracted Sports. Hello, how you going?
Fuck me, it's early. Jeez Louise. Isn't it?
It's very early, Tony, it is. How you
Yeah,
going? What
it
do you
is.
think
How
of
you
that
doing?
first red card? I saw that you weren't happy, but then the second one for France
Oh,
evened it out.
I wasn't happy, but it was fair. You know, as such the laws are, you know, there's really very little mitigation. It was quite interesting seeing the Georgian referee go, I don't see any high danger there where the guy just fully launched himself like a torpedo. What's the name of that French player who got sent off?
It was Mohamed Hawass.
Apparently that guy has spent like a bunch of time in jail as well for being involved in a bunch of burglaries. So a real quality character. That's what he sounds like. Yeah. And what did I think of the half? Frustrating because I'm very much backing Scotland here. I'm very much jumped on the Scottish bandwagon for this particular Six Nations, and they've had a number of opportunities, and they've only been able to really convert one, which is, you know, been frustrating. And every time you think, oh, here they go, that Ramos intercept was a real dagger. That really hurt, and that combined with a lack of sleep and the fact it's Monday morning, all really combines into a perfect whirlwind of just depression. Really, it's a Monday morning, Six Nations depressing morning. But hey, you know, what's the plan for you for today once you're through this?
Well, we've got the 7 starting at 7:30ish or 7:20. We're doing the
AM.
matchup. Yep.
AM. Oh no,
so not too far away.
How many views do you get on that when you're doing that? How many people are watching?
For that match between Samoa and Argentina, I think we have a couple hundred, somewhere around there.
Oh, that's pretty good, I guess. Like a couple of hundred at once watching you stream it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So, is people giving you some money? Let's get another cash drive happening. Give us some money. Give us some cash. Come on.
Two sets were very good at the advertisement of that. It's like that live stream that you guys were both on compared to other ones was just going absolutely crazy with it.
Did you get a chance to actually view the footage of us and how we maintain the channel?
Not yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing it, to see the confusion on your face when I did end up randomly disappearing.
Well, there's about a 30-second period where we're just like, oh, are we frozen? Is he gone? And we thought it might be at our end, and we're just like, and then I look at YouTube on my computer, and I'm like, oh shit, we're the Kiwi lads, come on! And then we take over and we do a big cat, and I literally just start screaming at your audience, going, money, give us some money. And then they did give you some money, so that was nice. Yeah. What were your thoughts on the game? Sort of highlights, lowlights. It was a big half of rugby, really, and kind of disappointing at the same time. But hey, it's not all over yet. But your general takeaways?
I'd say that France, like, they almost to me look certain for that 4-try bonus point. At some stage in the second half, it's coming. I thought it was almost going to be coming in the first half, the way they were able to break, but they haven't really had a lot of attack, like you mentioned. It's been all pretty much line breaks that have caused their tries. Whether
But
that
when
is
they,
the one of Ramos
yeah,
or
when they do have the ball in hand, they do look threatening. I think
mm,
they look all their forwards look very, very powerful. They're not just they're making the gain line and really putting some big dents in the Scots when they had them, and that's how they kind of just blunt force got that first try. And I think this is the best we've seen of the French so far in the Six Nations. They've been relatively stout on defense for long periods of time. The game has evened up in terms of being 14 on 14. To only have conceded one try and to have those 3 tries in the bank and made the most of their opportunities, whereas the Scots just haven't, because they haven't had that ruthless clinical nature that I think the French seem to have right now. And I think it would have really stung, the fact that they didn't look particularly great against the Italians, and then that loss to Ireland. They'll be really looking to put a marker down and send not only a message to the rest of the Six Nations, but the rest of the world, with the World Cup being there in France in September. Geez, that doesn't seem that far away, does it?
no, I remember when we were doing the countdown from about 850 days or
All
something
right.
along those lines. And now, with it being so close, I feel like I'm underprepared for it. We're just around the corner
All right.
from the big one.
Trim those pubes and get into it, buddy. It's on the way. That's what they say. If you're a live streamer, you need to trim your pubes.
Is that right? I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, it really helps. Makes you way more streamlined. That's right.
Of course, streamers move often.
Yeah, exactly. Streamline your pubes before you stream on YouTubes. That's what
like
they
if
say.
someone comes in right now, they'll be very confused.
I think that's the case most of the time when I'm on your channel, when people come on. Yeah, there we go. Come on, Sassy Toll. Good one, Sassy Toll. Sassy Toll broke the back. Now get your wallets out, you cheap buggers. Come on.
That's a euro, isn't it? If I'm not wrong. Is that a euro sign?
Yeah, I think that's a euro. Yeah.
Give it to Straight to Sports and subscribe, says Carl. Exactly right. Be sure to check him out. He's a very, very entertaining bloke, this man. Believe it or not. Or you've already known from what you've just seen.
What a talent this.
If this is what he's like at 5 a.m., imagine what he's like during the day.
You know what? It's been so nice watching Super Rugby this week when not having to be awake at like dumb ass times. This is a dumb ass time. This is stupid kind of time. So can the Scots do it? That's my question to you, Haimbo. You look like the most Scottish man who's ever walked the planet, by the way.
Really?
Look at you. You've got that kind of you're so white you're almost translucent kind of look to you, like you're handsome, man. I'm not saying you're a handsome Scot, but you look Scottish to me.
Although your cap is quite Scottish-esque, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm supporting them with the hat today. And everyone likes the Trippier's tie-dyed shirt in Scotland as well. So that's what it's all about.
I actually took part in a Scottish Heritage Games in primary school.
Highland Games.
Yeah, that's the one. I got together a tug-of-war team that absolutely dominated.
Wow, did you do
it wasn't because of me, because I was like this tall.
You look like an absolute powerhouse to me, Hamish. You would be like, I don't know, 62 kilos dripping wet, I reckon, something like that.
No, I've put on weight. Sitting here doesn't help. You had to add a bit to that.
Yeah,
we won tug of war easily. I didn't eat the haggis though. I'm still not.
Haggis is I think your diet purely consists of chips, isn't it? Really, that's
close to it. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta
see. It's quick and easy though. You just
broaden your horizons, my dude. Start. Have you ever heard of an egg? Maybe have one of them once in a while. A bit of protein. You need some protein, my man. Everyone, give everyone who thinks Hamish needs some protein, give him $1. Let's get some dollars going. Just give $1.
You just see $51 donations.
Yeah, exactly. If you feel like you can't give $5, $10, whatever, $100, just give $1. Sorry, I like to. By the way, I'm not doing this because I get money out of it. I'm just trying to make a bit of cash for my buddy here. Give him some money.
Come on, Scotland, you can do it, says Christopher. I think that's the thing. If they score early in the second
change
half,
the topic and try and talk about rugby. We're talking about money here. Okay. You
But
cheeky
yeah,
bugger.
if they score first in the second half and convert, I
Yeah.
think they're still in with a decent shot.
Yes, they are. Well, it's a tall task, but
Yeah.
they seem to be creating opportunities. And if they could have got that, if they could have got that extra try, like a badly thrown in ball, like a crooked throw here and there, a penalty given away at the wrong moment, a lack of patience. When the French get into the Scottish 22, however, I feel like it's basically it's a given that they're going to score a try. Whereas when the Scots get in, I'm just hoping like hope and waiting for some Finn Russell magic. But Finn Russell, man, you can see why he gives away a few intercepts, can't you? But I thought we got some money, but it was just Sebastian talking about food. But you can see because he goes right to the line and he throws his balls, doesn't he? He also does some passes. And it's pretty. Yeah, that was a tough one, wasn't it? What's your thoughts on Finn Russell? I think he's been playing pretty well apart from that one moment.
Yeah, I think the territory game's good, kicking it right down 5 meters out from France's line. But the problem so far for Scotland is they've done that a few times, but none of those times have actually led to any real points on the board. The only one that we really saw was that slightly earlier one of Hugh Jones, and that was off a scrum, wasn't it?
Yeah, they need to get a little bit more ruthless with their chances and really put them away. One thing I've been thinking about with this whole new rule of when it's held up, it goes to a line out, a dropout from the goal line. It really has changed the nature for me of the pick and go quite close to the line, because it used to be just a very, very cautious play, like the odds on for the money. But now, hey, boom, Tony, what a fucking awesome name you've got too. What a legend. Good on you, Tony. Champion.
Thank you very much, Tony.
Yeah, what a champ. What a champion. Fantastic. There we go. All right. That's how you do it, bitches. Come on, let's get some more money.
No, it's okay. The second half is about to get underway. See that Scotland have made their way out early.
By the way, you don't have to give money when I'm here. You give money anytime throughout the game. You just give some cash to Hamish. Cash him up. Come on, guys. He does this. How many hours have you done this weekend?
Including Super Rugby, we're probably sitting at about, I'd say we're at 25 hours or 20 hours, somewhere around there.
20 hours. Come on. 20 hours of work throughout the nights. Show some appreciation for the young man. Let's do this. Come on. Boom.
But nonetheless,
one point I wanted to make was the pick and go is really close to the line. They're not as valuable as they once were because they get held up so often doing that. And then when you get held up from there, you lose all your momentum. But anyway, mate, I'll let you get back to the game.
Final score prediction before you go.
France. I'd love to see the Scots get up, but the France will do it by 13 and over.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming on the channel, mate. Hugely appreciate it. Enjoy the second half. Enjoy your Monday.
See you guys. Ta-da.
Later. That was Tony of Distracted Sports, and thank you very much, Tony. He has said that the only way I can follow the game here in Hong Kong as well. Of course, the Hong Kong Seven's not too far away either for the Seven Circuit. Right. Back into the second half, ladies and gentlemen. By Matt Fagerson, tackled by Fiku. Half-times always feel so long in terms of the amount of minutes for some reason. I don't know whether it's normally 10 minutes, isn't it? But it often feels like about 15. Why are Scotland wearing blue? They actually mentioned it before the matchup. There's something to do with when France are at home, they do some sort of thing out of respect for the opposition. I think they let them wear their home kit or something. I might have misheard it, but there's some reasoning behind it why they are allowing Scotland to wear their home kit rather than the away. Settle Bay, nice inside ball currently. France on the halfway line. Dupont going back into the pocket, and Intermac will put it high. An important 40 minutes for both of these sides throughout their Six Nations campaign. Finn Russell takes the mark inside of his 22 and fires it back down into touch. Because Scotland play in blue, Rowie doesn't have an away kit, says Kerr there. So does that mean you think France should also be playing in their blue? And yet I hereby withdraw my donation because of Tony's other prediction, says Tony. Yeah. If it makes you feel better, I think Scotland will come back in the match a little bit. And thanks for putting me off. I don't need just Sebastian's spewing his bollocks in the chat. Yeah. Although you weren't wrong with the diet thing, the chicken and rice, the chips, and the Powerade. Although it's Powerade Zero, so slightly better in it. And Rugby has a change kit. Home teams change out of respect. Says Kerr there. Yeah, so I knew it was something to do with France and the respect side of things. Now, Scotland with the ball 40 metres out from France's line. Both sides still playing with the 14 as they will be for the rest of the match. As long as there's no other red or yellow cards. Russell tried to get through a gap, but nicely tackled by Flamand. Moving just a little bit further forward. That was almost taking the player out. That will be an accidental offside against Dupont. They've got the advantage. They do go back for the penalty, and they'll now look to kick for the corner. So basically, the Frenchies are showing respect towards Scotland just to stuff them later. There's Sammy Souza. And Scotland's away kit doesn't clash with France's home kit, though, says Crumpus. But yeah, I think it's something to do with the respect side of things because the away kit's actually lilac, isn't it, for Scotland, if I'm not wrong. So with every country in World Rugby, it's a change kit, not an away kit, says Kerr. And so if Scotland lose to Ireland, win the Six Nations, says Cameron, they get a long way towards it. But then if Scotland beat Ireland next week, it's anyone's game in the final round. As England will be taking on the Irish, the final round of the Six Nations. Scotland, they do find themselves going head-to-head with the Italians. Did they play Italy last week? They might have actually played Italy last week, sorry. So I think they might be going head-to-head with either Wales or Italy. No, they might actually have Italy as their last game. Well done. The Hurricanes, very disappointing Reds supporter here. Disappointed Red supporter here. I just hope Scotland don't get the same fate. Yeah, the Reds didn't quite fire in that game, unfortunately. They got up by 6 early, and then the Hurricanes just kept on breaking through. I hope it's not a sign of things to come between New Zealand and Australia sides, though. I want a lot of close games for Super Rugby Pacific. We'll be continuing next week, although not the Six Nations next week. They have got the week off, and then it's the week after that we get to see the likes of Scotland versus Ireland, France versus England, Wales versus Italy. There's some big matches just around the corner. But the scrum feed now for Dupont and his French side. The ball in. Waiting for this one to bounce out the back, and it's done just that now. Dupont looks off to the right-hand side. Decide to kick it from deep. Good kick from Dupont, probably making about, I've just said territory gain, about 43 meters for that kick. And Hamish, I have to get ready to go to my trip to San Francisco. Going to watch my first AEW event next week, Sunday. Hopefully you do enjoy. That will be a long flight, is it, Carl? Or how long are you on the plane for? And today is the Carabao Cup in England at Wembley, says Harry and Luck. Now, Turner about to throw this one in for Scotland. Nicely done again. The line out. It's been relatively successful for Scotland, other than that one not straight throw when they were 10 metres out from the French line. But Scotland, it's a guarantee they need to score first. That's the advantage. Now it looks like White looking for this ball. Where's it ended up? It's gone down on the ground. They do have to roll away. 40 out from the Scottish line. Here they come. Ben White on the short side, trying to pierce his way through. Great tackle made by Charles Hollevon. Now, Uipalotu goes to Hugh Jones, the one try scorer. It's a nice wide cutout pass, but it's forward again from the Scots. That is 2 times in a row now when they've tried that cutout pass that it's drifted just a little bit further forward. The home team wears the away kit, and the away team wears the home kit. Says Crumpus and Sammy Souza. Again, not called an away kit. Rugby is called a change kit because home teams change away kits are for soccer, says Kerr. I just need Scotland not to lose by 14. Okay, so they're currently down by 15, so you need at least one more try for them. And Cape Town to Dubai, then Dubai to London, London to New York to San Francisco. Geez, that's a trip and a half. How long are you in the US for, Carl? And also, what are you doing over there other than going to the AEW event? Penalties conceded so far throughout this match are actually quite low between the two sides. 5 from Scotland, 6 from France. Lower than normal. Thoughts on World Cup pools with current IRB standings, specifically Ireland, Scotland, and South Africa in one pool. I'm still heavily against how early they did the draw. Like, I accept it. That's what they've ended up having. But doing a draw about 3 years out from a World Cup or 2 years out, when so much can happen in that time, seems a bit rough. I'm not actually sure how the draw would sit if they had done the draw more recently. Would be an interesting one to look into, perhaps. And there's a solid 30 hours on the plane. Carl dearing me, says Sebastian. 30 hours is a long time. That's how long we stream for in a weekend, which is probably almost too long at times. Pierre Schoolman. Now on the 22 for Scotland. They have more possession throughout this matchup, and also the territory battle has gone the way of the away side. An advantage for a high tackle now. Finn Russell passes him behind. Here comes Duan Fundermerva. Once again, great tackle made on him low. It's exactly what you've got to do. It's a vacation, but also visiting a close friend who moved to the States. Here's Justel. Kicked high. Sorry, passed long, I should say. Hugh Jones gave it off to Stain, who gets close. Now Schoolman. Another chance here. The advantage now once again going the way of Scotland. They've got advantage. This could end up being a yellow card if France aren't too careful with the discipline. Hugh Jones. He puts the ball down, and that's a second try of the match for Scotland. They score first. Exactly what they said, or exactly what we said they would need to do. Really made World Rugby to force their hand on making the ball draws too early. Says Simi Souza and Baboom. Says Distractor Sports, but I'm there for 2 weeks, says Carl. So hopefully you don't end up with too much jet lag. I'd assume that it will be quite hard adjusting to the time zone for the US just because it's a little bit different from, I guess, the Northern Hemisphere / anywhere else where it's kind of that 12 hours or so. And yes, says Tony and Mister. So now Scotland, an important kick just around the corner. We'll get rid of that one that says about halftime, although it is an interesting one to look at because there was a 15-point margin between these two sides. Yeah, I'm heading off. Enjoy the rest of the stream. See you in 2 weeks. We'll pop in for a bit, says Carl. So enjoy your flights and enjoy the US. Hopefully it all goes smoothly for you. Now, 48 and a half minutes gone in the match. Finn Russell, an important kick. Take care, Carl, I should say. They better convert that. Straight down the middle. And now France are only up by 8 points. 2 halves game possibly if Scotland takes control in the second 40. In fact, while I'm at it, I am curious to know how the likes of a TAB or someone see this matchup. Because France at halftime surely were coming in as massive favourites and you assume Scotland were heavy underdogs. We're going to see though. I'd assume they'd still be quite heavy underdogs. Scotland, $4.60 underdogs at the moment for anyone who does follow along with that kind of thing. So the win predictors probably got them at about a 25% chance of being able to win this contest currently. We're on here, team. Here's Distractor Sports. Kick downfield. All awkward. Bouncer for Finn Russell. Has to try and clean it up. Has just managed to do so. Almost knocked it on in the process. But it's been regathered by Scotland 15 metres out from their line. Now it looks like White's going to go back. Put it in the pocket. Now Ben White will be rolling this back for the kick and keep the French to min ball. Says Christopher. Mr. Jones for his second. Says Nate. Okay, they passed it across a couple times there. Cross kick taken by Cole Stain. Inside ball to Stuart Hogg. And he also decides to put boot to ball. It's slowly curling towards a 50-22. Ramos takes it inside of the French 22, and now Scotland, they've come out in the second half with a lot more aggression in the way that they're playing. They seem like now they've lit that fire underneath them. I don't know what happened at half time, but the second half so far, France just don't look like they're quite to that same standard as we're seeing from the Scots. The World Cup draw should be done on the final week of the autumn series for the World Cup. Give those games a lot more meaning, says Mountains of Asylum. Because yeah, like you look at who's in the draw and what order they were. I love down to the wire games. Says Sassy Toll, they are always entertaining, that is for sure. And these two sides have had an absolute cracker in the past up against the French. We remember Bryce Doolan, who made that last minute mistake that then gave Scotland the win over France back in 2021. Now counter ruck. Ball just in play. Doing very well to just keep it in there. Now back across. Forward's going to have to get the job done. But yeah, the amount that the draw would have changed if they did it somewhere soon rather than a few years ago is absolutely massive and needs the Thunder to do his lightning strikes. Duan van der Merwe says, nay. Another point. Downfield once again. The territory game going the way of Scotland. 25 out now with the line out. Looks disappointed there, Dupont. Those that decided certainly up against it in the second half. Best chance for Scotland is to open it up in this half. Exactly right. I said at the halftime break, they needed to score first. They've been able to do that. That conversion was even that little bit better for them, but they still need a try and something. Convert a try and something will give them the lead, though. Been told to use it already here, Scotland. George Turner, though, it's starting to march forward. It's that little bit further. And that's something that Scotland have done actually pretty well up against France throughout this match is make meters off their rolling maul. He's broken away. Nice tackle made. High. The tie here, Prob now, Pierre Schulman. 15 out, Scotland to the right-hand side. Tui Pilotu. Oh, no, Hugh Jones was just running a support line. He wasn't expecting the ball, and it's a knock-on. Now Sedobayi for the French. Will drive it almost up to the 22, but once again, they find themselves in the scenario of having to kick this one downfield. Good boot from Dupont. Well covered back there by Finn Russell, who will now look to run it back. He's gone around Dupont, but he got the ankle tap. Look for the miracle offload to Duan van der Merwe, who's just claimed that one close to the touchline. Ben White finds his offload to keep it in the field of play. Russell, that was desperation from Scotland, and it's a knock-on in the process. That was probably the scrappiest we've seen from Scotland throughout this match so far. Looked like they were in pure panic mode, trying to keep this ball in the field of play. But Russell, he thought he had got around Dupont, just managed to ankle tap him. And then that offload that he made started the panic. Right, time is off. I think we're going to get to see a little bit of a change on the field, perhaps. And also, we have got the if only the World Rugby meatheads were patient, but did sweet all doing it too early. Because, yeah, for those groups, is it the top 5 are all in a group? Or sorry, the top 4 all find themselves in separate groups. So that would mean if they redraw, I think that was how it is. Is that long ago? I can't remember. But that would actually mean currently on the rankings that France, Ireland, New Zealand, and South Africa were all in different pools rather than being spread across 2. The French play running rugby, not kicking back and forth, says Christopher. They have actually changed their style quite a bit because if you look at a game of the top 14, you do see more of that territory kicking battle taking place. But that's just the uniqueness of the top 14. It can be quite entertaining when they are going back and forth. A nice kind of breath of fresh air. You do normally see that running rugby style. Who do you think will win? I mean, France still, for me, are in a good position to be able to go on and win this contest, but Scotland are certainly making it hard for them. Here come France, though. 22 metres out. Nice step from de Mortier. France can score now. That would secure themselves their bonus point and might almost take the wind out of the Scottish sails, but the turnover's good up until Scotland didn't continue with the counter ruck. Now, Tom Miller, he is one of the replacements that France have decided to make. Dupont tried to go around the side of the breakdown, instead passes it off to Falatea, lurking around here, Gregory Aldred. In fact, it was Francois Cross for that one. Now France, numbers here, draw and pass. It's going to be de Mortier, held up. Brilliant work from Scotland to be able to defend just out from their own line. Took too long. He decided to step rather than going for the corner, and in the process did get just held up by Ben White. Doesn't want to give up the ball, and there's a bit of push and shove now. Tensions are running high. But de Mortier doesn't want to give the ball away. Stuart Hogg's smiling at him. You don't really want to try and start a fight with someone from Scotland because they normally have pretty good chins and pretty hard fists. Great defence, says Distracted Sports. It's comforting to know that regardless of the outcome today, Scotland will still be ahead of England in the world rankings, says Kerr. And also, holy S, says Tony. Yeah, brilliant work right on the line from Scotland. Because if Scotland scored there, that could have been the game. But because they've been able to just stop from getting in, a top 4 rank split over each group current ranking means one pool is 3 teams from the top 5, which is ridiculous, really, when you look at it, isn't it? Because, yeah, one side of the draw is absolutely stacked, and the other side There's some good sides there, but they'll be liking their side of the draw a lot more. That's going to be the penalty to France. They might consider taking on the extra 3 points here rather than the corner, although at some point they still need that extra bonus point try if they want a chance of winning the Six Nations. Also, we like using our foreheads in our scuffles, says Mr. Yeah, the Glasgow kiss, as it's called, isn't it? Flying headbutt. And South Africa B says Koketso. Sorry, I mispronounced that for a second, didn't I? And lad standing over him says Nate. But yeah, he got held up and then he just was like, no, I don't want to give up the ball. And I don't know whether that was a tactic to try and wait till the Scottish player stood up and then roll over. So he's like, hey, the ball was down, so I'll take it. But no, referee was having none of it, and the Scottish players weren't having any of it either. Now France looking to add 3 extra points onto the board here. It is Thomas Ramos. Now this doesn't change the scenario of the match too much, as Scotland, to be honest, they were still going to need 2 tries. Poked him in the eye. Yeah, Hamish, you never want to pick a fight with a team who have deep fried Mars bars as one of their national dishes. Oh, deep fried Mars bars, I never tried one, but they'd be intriguing because you wonder what would happen to the centre of them, wouldn't you? Now Thomas Ramos lining up this kick and does go over. So that will make the score 25 points to 14. Favour of the home side, France, with 23 minutes remaining. Good afternoon, says Fletcher. Welcome in. You are doing very well, mate. Right, Jack Dempsey, Ali Price, both making their way onto the field. And also we have got the correct, Galeska kiss, as it's locally colloquialised. You use some good words, Mr. Novel, bro, as your name says. And the only region that understands the true knockout power of a headbutt, where other nations soften you up with it, we finish with it. You see, as soon as you see someone using their head in the fight, you either know that they've got an extremely hard skull or they're just extremely tough. I think if I tried to use my skull even to headbutt a piece of cardboard, I probably didn't it. And that's my skull, that is, not the cardboard. Nice run from Stuart Hawke. Scotland 40 metres out. Pierce Gorman considered the inside ball. There is currently an advantage being played for Scotland. Now Finn Russell goes off to Hogg. He's going to be taken down low, and they'll go back for the penalty. Or just have no brains, says Greg Gore. And even that's a scary sight if you end up with someone in a fight in that regard. And Cameron just shows us how much depth we truly have, says Lee 1111. And also, they may pull out a knife, says Justin. Yeah, that wouldn't be ideal. Right, captain's getting called over here. It is Finn Russell and Jamie Ritchie both having a bit of a conversation about whether or not they want the scrum. Or scrum 5 metres out. So the option was either the penalty or a scrum 5 metres out from the line. So they've gone for the 5 metre scrum. This is a great opportunity here again for Scotland. Scotland need to bry haggis power with whiskey. Semisosa, sorry. And also, we have got what good is depth if the best players don't get picked and the most talent goes and plays overseas, says Cameron. I think the All Blacks are going to find that out in about 2024 when all of those big dog players like Beauden Barrett, Richie Mo'unga, all those fellas going overseas, they have to find replacements for them. And that is where that depth or young players can then make their mark. Speaking of making a mark here, Scotland, this would cut down the deficit quite a bit if they were able to score at this point in time. 5 metre scrums looking strong, not really moving for either side. In fact, they tried to march forward a metre or two, but France holding strong. Now going to the short side. Finn Russell decides to run it himself, taken down. Bit of a counter ruck there from Cruz. A lot of pressure being put on the Scottish halfback. Stain, has to take it instead. Now, will be Kyle Stain going back across to Gray. Scotland still looking dangerous. And they probably look like the more dangerous side inside of the opposition's 22. Hello, says Stephanie. Welcome in. Hope you are doing well. Now back across. Nice low tackle made on Xander Fagerson. Price goes to Russell. Duan van der Merwe is calling for it out wide, but I think he might be a little bit too close to the touchline for them to risk that pass at this point. He's now looking for it, though. He's actually decided to make the clean out in the breakdown. Short ball. Avoided it in the end for Jamie Gray. Now Price again goes off to the right-hand side. Russell. Many phases in a row here for Scotland, moving up to 8 now. And to the right. Russell sold as if he was going to grubber it in. He does. He kicks it straight into touch. That's not it. In fact, he kicks it dead, which means that now France will have the scrum about 15 metres out. That wasn't the right decision from Finn Russell there. The worst thing about that is it showed a lack of patience. That's going to be kicked straight into a Scottish player. It's only a few metres out from the Scotland or the French 22. So Scotland actually ending up, Piers Gorman sat down by Jack Dempsey. It's a bit of an accident. He forgot he was on his team. Now Russell, nice inside ball. Goes to Johnny Gray. Now Scotland, they need to be patient. If they have to have 15 phases to score, that's what you got to do. Seems like Scotland have had a few chances. Scoreboard could look very different. True, they've had a lot of close opportunities. Finn Russell finds the offside. Currently playing with 13 men as one of their players is down. This is the time to score if you are Scotland. He has no idea what he is doing, says Yanri now. Sometimes they come off for Finn Russell, other times they do not. That was one where it didn't. Now the turnover is good in the breakdown for France. Stuart Hogg being told no hands. France just outside of their 22 will get the possession back. 20 minutes to go according to the scoreboard clock. Currently 18 minutes remaining, 62 through in this matchup. And last time someone tried a Glasgow kiss on me, I did a Paul Hogan on him, says Christopher Dale. Ramos for France. They are still searching for that bonus point try. Damien Pinot kicks it ahead, knocked the ball on in the process. So Scotland will now have the option of a scrum or a line out. Come on, keep up the pressure, keep up the territory in their 22, says Tony. And they've been doing very well. Like, they've kept France where they've needed to keep them. They just haven't been able to then go, right, we need some tries. Or we need some former points, put the pressure on. Great run from Jack Dempsey. The biggest hit that he put on was actually dropping his teammate, Pierre Schoolman. It was a bit of friendly fire. And damn, got whacked hard, says Nate. Scotland win. France dropped to 4, and New Zealand and South Africa go up. Yes, says Kerr. Yeah, the rankings always confuse me a little bit in terms of I think is it 12 or 13 is the cutoff for how many you win by? You then get a little extra boost. Any other replacements on the stage? They are just taking Hurian Moshon. In fact, sorry, Cyril Bay. He's going off the field now, and that'll be for Reda Wardy. Also already out on the field for France, Falatea, Taufa Fanua, Cruz. I believe those are the only changes that they have made. Jack Dempsey on for Scotland alongside Johnny Gray and Ali Price. I believe those are all the changes that Scotland have then made. Now kicked him on by Finn Russell again. Kicks it into space. Thomas Ramos has to take it a metre out from his line. Shut down. Brilliant work with the chase from Stuart Hogg. And it will once again be another 5-metre scrum for Scotland, who are just really on the verge of kicking down the door back into this contest. Morning, Hamish. How are you, mate? I'm doing very well. I can hope you are doing well also. You have been enjoying all of the rugby that has been going on. I have no idea how I have this much energy. Or a voice, actually. The voice is probably the more surprising one. We have done a lot of Super Rugby, a lot of Six Nations, the Sevens as well. We're going to be covering that straight after this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. 7:20 a.m., the first quarterfinal between Samoa and Argentina. Just showing Scotland here. They've just got so much fight in them, but they just haven't been able to quite put it on the board. WP now taken out onto the field. At least your scoreboard is working. Although I can't say much about your clock. Says Sydney Souza and go Scotland. And go Scotland, says Bing. As well, 5 metre here. Yeah, 5 metre scrum. Quite close to the posts, about maybe 10 metres out to the right-hand side of them. Which means that the set play could well and truly be on here for Scotland. Ali Price beats the ball in. Oh, no, he doesn't get it in the end. It's just all gone down. Pressure, boys, says Nate. This is a big moment in the game. And after work, after this, Hamish, says Christopher, for myself or for you, Christopher? I think I might be working this afternoon, possibly. A big moment here, says Distracted Sport. 32 in South Africa. We're watching. Says Koketso. Koketso. Tell you what, I've messed up your name about 3 times. I do apologise. That currently 5:30 AM here in New Zealand, so a nice morning start for a Six Nations fixture. Just over 15 remains on the clock now. Scotland getting that ball in this time. It's solid. The push from Scotland not going to get France moving too far backwards. Now it moves, they get the advantage. Ali Price waiting for that one. He's going to be shut down instantly by, I believe that was Cruz. They have to release him. It took a little extra while to be able to do so. Now going off to the short side. WP now. This first touch of the matchup. 5 meters from the line. Price going off now to Fraser Brown, the replacement hooker for Scotland. Taufafanua tries his best to hold him up. Now Price again going off to the left. Russell with the chip. What's he doing? That's not going to work out. It's going back for the penalty again. What happened to your hair, says Bing. This part, it's fallen out the side, isn't it? But I did get a haircut. It's a bit long, so I chopped it a bit shorter. Are your streams monetized? They are indeed. Even though there's probably been more swearing on the streams from guests this weekend than any other week. But we are, yes, a monetized channel. As the game felt top level, I mean, there's been the fair share of errors from both sides, of course, but it's just got that big match feel because of how much it's going to mean for the Six Nations picture. Currently looking at the table, if Scotland manage to somehow get themselves the upset win, if they get 2 more tries, they move to 15, and they will be sitting very close on Ireland's tail for the next round, which is going to be the matchup between the top 2 as it currently sits on the Six Nations table. But if France win and they get the bonus point, they move up to 10, and then they shut that gap down a little bit, and then who knows what will happen in the next couple of weeks. Again, Finn Russell in his kick, says Yanri now. And also, come on, Scots, come on. Yeah, so they have still got themselves a 5-meter scrum. That's going to be a reset. Too much movement there. And come on, Susan Boyle. Beat Bridget Bardot. Says Vincent. I know Susan Boyle. I'm not sure of the other one. They're on great site. Our scores affect rankings, FYI, says Kerr. And also, we have got Scotland need to take their kicks, says Mountains of Asylum. Yeah, although they're in a tricky scenario because they are down by 11, which means a conversion or a penalty would get them 3 points, but they'd still be down by 8. So that's the risk that they've kind of found themselves taking, trying to go for 7. That's not to say that if they had taken the 3s, they could have had 2 by now, getting 6 points back in. Most beautiful French actress, says Vincent. Vanessa's hot and cold in this game so far, says Simi Sozi. Yes, indeed. Now, Ali Price puts the ball in for Scotland, pushing hard, 5 meters out. Once again, Scotland get themselves the advantage. This has to be a try. Tui Polotu, 2 meters out again. Price going off to Russell. He holds on to it and scores the try for Scotland. Finn Russell strikes. Like someone said, he's been very hot and cold throughout this game, but that is a moment that Scotland needed. The try. Do it for Dottie Ware, says Christopher, and Scott showed they can get phases together, need more of it. Also, Mr. Bean is hot, says Bing. I used to do quite a good Mr. Bean impersonation with the voice, but I don't think I've got it in me anymore, sadly. And at this stage, Scotland will be focusing on losing bonus point to stay second in the table, says Kerr. Although with that try, they'll be focusing on getting the win. They're within 6. The kick to come. This is going to be a final 10 minutes to remember because both sides, whoever scores next gets an extra point in this match no matter how it finishes, because that will be the points or the bonus point for getting 4 tries in this game. Has Finn shown any French touches or French touches? Says Eric. He's had 50-50. Finn Russell scoring there, though, is very handy. In fact, when I think about it, Romain Intermac and Finn Russell both fly half scoring. That's quite a rarity in the Six Nations, as it's normally those guys in the centres and the wings who are able to make the most of the opportunities. That's gone over, making the score now 21 points to 25. Could be worse, Hamish, than Mr. Bean's iconic funny face. He's got a few. I thought about it for a second. But I actually wanted a Mr. Bean style car, like the little Mini, when I was younger. But like now they're like 40 grand. And excellent, says Mr. Novel Bro. and converted, and there you go, boy, hold the ball. Awesome stuff, says Stephen G. 11 minutes remain, 4 points difference. And Romain Intermac now taken off the field. That is for Matthew Jalabert. Right, Scotland, deep inside of their own area, have to kick this one towards the touchline, and they've done just that. Good clearing kick from Scotland, who have had all momentum in the second half. And now this is going to light things up. Now pass the ball, not kick it, not yet. And I'll just quickly go like this. This is what we had up at half time. 22 points to 7. Scotland since then have managed to get themselves 14 points compared to the French, who have only got themselves 3. See, Blair Kinghorn has now made his way out onto the field for Scotland as well. Nicely taken at the front. Now it's going to be Dupont. One more pass across here for the French. You can hear the French national anthem being sung by their supporters, who know that this is probably going to be the toughest 10 minutes for France in their whole Six Nations campaign. The Wings, their time has come. No, or Duan van der Merwe to win it. Says Eric in Scotland. Let's get it and go Scotland, says Bing. I'm excited. I feel like I shouldn't be this awake at 5:40 a.m., but because of what's happening in this game, I'm not going to be able to sleep, which I don't think I was going to be anyway, because we've got the 7th straight after at 7:20 a.m., ladies and gentlemen. Don't lift it. I'm not touching him, was the comment from the Scottish player. I think that was Jack Dempsey, the slight Australian twang. Now it's going to be knocked back by Kinghorn. No, they've said it's actually a knock on first. So France now have themselves the scrum 25 metres out. You caught it early when you said be a territory game, says Tony. And yeah, I mean, territory last 10 minutes, we've seen 98% for Scotland, 2% for France. So that tactic of consistently making France play from their own 22 and just continuously having to kick it downfield seems like it's been wearing on them. We've seen a lot more defence taking place for France than Scotland. Scotland to win by 3 points. So you're giving them one more converted try, Theodore, by the looks of it. Go Scots, go, says Peter Lowe. So I'll ask the question, was answered a little bit earlier on by Eric, but who is the player that everyone thinks will win this game for their side? The last minute try, if we do have a last minute try, that is, who will be the guy that gets it? See, for me, I'm thinking that Galfiku for France might be an option. Then for Scotland, I think it's going to be one of those big forwards, or Kyle Steyn. Gone down on the front rows, Duan van der Merwe. I know he'll be a popular choice. Scots nail this. It'll send a serious message. There's Peter Lowe. Finn Russell to score, says Fleshen. An afternoon from South Africa. And Whitbank, says Johan, welcome in. Hogg will get the winner, the experienced veteran of the Scottish side. Seeing a lot of Scottish predictions, though, for who's going to get that last-minute try. We haven't seen a French player as of yet. One of the props will win it for the Scots. Richie Gray, says Nate. Scotland, says Christopher. And Scotland winning will make a great showdown next week, potentially the Grand Slam showdown. Exactly right, Duan van der Merwe, surely, if not Carl Steyn. And Duan, how many times has he scored last minute versus France? Says Venster. Free kick goes the way of the French. Van der Merwe will be fine as long as his shoelaces don't betray him, says Mr. Novel Bro. And the pot for Bing. French number 9. They've decided to take on another scrum, taking more time out of the last 10 minutes here. 4 points is a horrible deficit, says Eric. Well, it just means that they can't take on 3 points unless they want to draw, which I doubt is what Scotland will be after. Van der Merwe will run through them all and win, and one of the French will win it for the Scots via penalty, says Andre. And that is a good point. If Scotland give away a penalty here, France will be happy enough to tap it over and make it a 7-point difference. And then it puts the pressure back on Scotland to be able to then convert their try if they do manage to get through for one. But this scrum has been taking place since about 71 minutes. So used up quite a bit of time. France now get that ball in. Scotland not wanting to go onto the back foot. Brilliant scrum defence to stop them from marching backwards. But now Scotland have to defend from 22 metres out from their line. Dupont goes across to Taufafanua, the beast. At number 19, fresh as well since coming on in the second half. Dupont now flat ball to a Flamand, sorry. Charles Oliveron. Scotland know they can't give away a penalty here or else the game would almost be over for them. Taufifenua. Penalty goes the way of Scotland for diving it off his feet. That is against, I believe it was actually against Falatea, who's been penalised. And France to get knocked out by South Africa in the last 8, says Bing. Don't blame the shoes, got to go with Ireland, says Peter Lowe. 2 kicks from a kickable position. Go for the try. And the other guy couldn't tackle, says Nate. There as well. So that one's kicked into touch. 6 minutes left. Scotland down by the halfway line. But Taufifenua tackled. And then they just said the player left his feet. Trying to work out who it was. I believe it was Falatea. All Blacks to hammer France at the World Cup. French peak too soon. Says Juandre. Juandre, I believe would be the pronunciation, is it? Big throw for Fraser Brown. I believe one of his first in the last 15 minutes or so. It's gone over the top. France steal it. That is the big mistake that Scotland could not afford to make. Now it's going to be Dupont. Goes across. Numbers on the outside here for the French. Fiku goes one more. Here comes Ramos with the drawn pass. Doesn't actually go with the pass, though. Hangs on to it. Need that Scottish mongrel right now. All Blacks got an error way over. Says Peter Lowe. Now Gal Fiku, 5 metres out from the line. France to score now would give them not just a bonus point, but also quite possibly secure them the victory. Taufifenua once again trying to drive those big legs. I do see that they are yet to bring Sekou Makalu out onto the field. Perhaps he could be a game changer for them if he gets the opportunity. Now Dupont goes across again. It's going to be the big replacement, number 17, Awardly. Penalty advantage for France. So that will give them the 7 points difference if they are unable to get a try here, which they are trying for. Was it a knock-on from Damien Penaud? They say it went backwards. Now the left winger thought about the cross kick instead. They will run this one to the right, almost through. Jalabert looks for his offload. Picked up now. They're still playing the advantage. This is going to be a long one. Now, Wadley again, driven backwards in the tackle. It's Fraser Brown making that one. Okay, the turnover would have been good for Scotland, but they had already given away the penalty earlier. They'll be going back for it now. Southern Hemisphere still way better than the North. France, to be fair to them, this might be a big decision because 3 points will give them a 7-point lead, but then that still opens up the opportunity for Scotland to be able to get a draw, which France cannot afford if they want to defend their Six Nations title. Or you take a risk and you go for everything. Dupont's making a big decision. What do they decide here? It's going to be a big one, that is for sure. Great description, Hamish. Says Eric, tackles made so far, 151 made by the French, 107 made by Scotland. So the French should be getting a little bit more tired, which is why they went with that 6-2 split. They knew they were going to be busy in a game up against a Scottish side that conceded 19 points and then from there have managed to get back into the scenario. They have stopped France from getting their bonus point, which I think they're going to go for here. I don't think they want the 3. As much as they want the win, they need 5 points to keep them in the Six Nations for 2023. They're going to take the quick tap, but they can't because the water boy's still on the field. The water has to be off, and that's just blown that little bit of secrecy and that bit of a set play they were going to be trying. The crowd are booing, but they had the water boy out there as their 14th or 16th man, 15th in this case with the red card. It's kicked into touch. France 5 meters out are risking absolutely everything to try and get themselves over the line to take the full 5 points rather than 4. Home for an Argentinian golden era. And ABs and Box know how to perform in a World Cup. Ireland can't. Says Pichetso. Italy showed that Ireland is mortal too. Box and Kiwis will flourish. Nicely thrown in. Wasn't quite as clean as they would have liked, but it is still going to be bouncing on the side of the French. Scotland looking for that turnover. Cole Stein unable to get it. Now 5 meters out. Falatea. This is a tactic that may either benefit France. The ball's gone down in the rolling maul, and that is now going to be Scotland's ball. 5 meters out from their line. They will have themselves the scrum. It's a minute to set up the line out plus territory with the ball in Scotland territory, says Venster, although it's backfired. Scotland now have ended up in position with another chance, but they will have to go 95 meters if they want to walk away with a try here. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be back with the Six Nations in 2 weeks' time, which is going to be including a matchup between Scotland and Ireland. France are going to be playing England, and Wales will be taking on the Italians. Do you believe in miracles? Says Distracted Sports. All I can say is Scotland have done it before in the last minute up against France a few years ago, but they've shown that it's possible. Big difference, though. They were 5 meters out from the French line rather than 5 meters out from their own. Imagine if the Box took Ireland seriously and got the kicker. I believe, says Tony. Viva Uruguay to win in France, says Andre. Now, ball goes in. Ali Price. Scotland can work a penalty into this. That would be ideal. Although France with a big shove. Massive push. Ball almost got stuck, but somehow Ali Price able to keep it out. Now Stuart Hogg, 2 meters out from his own line. Gets up, tries to go again. Ideally, Scotland should be kicking this in a normal scenario, but this is no normal situation. France asks for the penalty. They receive it as well. Now what do the French do? Do they take the 3? I don't think they will. I think they've got to go for the 7 again. Oh, they moved 10. Scotland complained. And now France will only be about 5 meters out from the line. That little bit of back chat might have just cost Scotland massively. Run Scots run of freedom, says Mr. and Scotland, says Claire. So currently the way that it sits, I should mention Scotland are getting a losing bonus point if it remains this way. The difference here, though, is if Scotland do concede a try now, which France have taken the quick tap, it will mean that they will be missing out on that extra point for their Six Nations campaign. Now, Wardy, not too far out. 30 seconds remain. Galfiku goes through, and he scored the try for France. And that will be the game. And that will be a bonus point win for the French. They will get the full 5 points available. My pick to score for France in the final moments to win the game was Galfiku. And he's just done it. Typical Scottish players letting the mouse run away with them. You can take the Scotsman out of the sky. And how did you call that, says Nicholas? I have no idea how I managed to pick Fiku to score that last-minute try. And you called it Hamish, says Yanri now. But now, well, for now, but soon, will be very different, says Cameron. And that seals it for France. It certainly does. And it takes away the bonus point from Scotland. It also takes the bonus point for the 4 tries into the court of the French. He gets a massive smooch on the cheek from Damien Penaud. They called it a peck, but that was a full-on, it was a mouth-open smoocher on the cheek of the French. And also, F's sake, says Peter Lowe at France with 18 on Super Brew. Okay, so they'll end up with possibly 11 if this kick does go over, but it is after full time, which does mean this will be the final play of the game. Well, it's been an impressive match. France, they scored 3 tries in the first about 20 or so minutes. Then somehow Scotland were able to stop them for the next 60, but not for the last minute. Bloody well done, Scotland. Says Distracted Sports, and Scotland really stuffed that up, says Grumpus, and I have France with 18 on Super Root, same as Yandri. Also, another donation from Tony. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciated there as well. Although you didn't put a message. So whatever message you put up next, I will put on the screen for you instead. I mean, 14 says being okay. 14's a little bit closer. The kick is successful. So the end score is going to be 32 points to 21. Italy simply the best, says Michelle there. And also Q, Sierra. Thanks for the cast, says Tony. And Jeepers Tony, what a legend, says Distracted Sports. And there as well. So I will put Tony's other message up. There we go. And Scotland, the nearly men again, says Michael. And Scotland had one job. They've proven that they are not World Cup contenders, not anytime soon. I don't know. It's a tough group for Scotland. Don't get me wrong. They've got South Africa and Ireland. But it was unlucky in this game. I think that's the best way of describing it. Scotland had their chances. They didn't quite make the most of them. France will know that they have done extremely well to walk away from this game with 5 points, though. That will put them up onto 10. Their points differential will be increased by 11. So just looking at the way that the table was sitting before this matchup, their points differential will now go up to +3, which will leave them in the position that they are. They will still be in 4th, but it's not quite enough for Scotland to drop to 3rd. So England will remain in 3rd, Scotland in 2nd on 10 points, but that gap between Scotland and Ireland has now really increased, and it could be a big one Indeed. Actually, now that I look at the table, next round of the Six Nations, which is in 2 weeks' time, we get to see 1 versus 2, 3 versus 4, and 5 versus 6. So somehow it's worked out to be that all of the games will then seesaw different teams to different positions on the Six Nations table. Also, you've got to give it to the Scots. They play well. You're from Auckland? No, I am from the South Island of New Zealand, a couple hours south of Christchurch. And Ireland or South Africa to top the pool, says Yandre. It will definitely depend on who wins that matchup when they do face off. Could go either way, I would think. And also, fully pissed, don't mind the French, but like the Scots, says it was Peter Lowe. And also, late bloomers for Scotland. Momentum was theirs in the second half, but the Frenchy on a roll. Yeah, they came out firing in that second 40 minutes, Scotland, scoring the early try, then scoring again. And it made it tricky for France to find any sort of momentum. Like, in terms of the stats, if you look at stats for this game, other than that first 20 minutes, you looked at the stats, you'd think Scotland had won it. The way they were able to force France deep, I believe territory would have been about 70% for Scotland or somewhere along those lines, if not maybe even a little bit higher, around their 80. South Africa will crash out the Rugby World Cup, says Kerr. And also, when the going get tough, the French got going, says Michael. And yeah, fair play to France, not just taking on that 3 points at the end. They knew that they needed that extra point, and they were willing to take on that risk. They did blow that first opportunity in the 78th, but then they fought back, got themselves that other penalty, and Scotland getting marched back 10. I think that really hurt them as well, because it became a 5-meter tap rather than a 15-meter tap. Scotland only beat 2 sides. They were really struggling. Says Yandre in there as well. But nonetheless, I think that is almost going to be the end of this live stream. Our next one is going to be taking place at 7:20 a.m. New Zealand time. That is Samoa versus the USA, followed by Fiji versus South Africa in the sevens, New Zealand versus Great Britain, and then also it is going to be the last matchup between Ireland and Australia. Can't wait to see the actual. I was relying entirely on your cast and enjoyed it immensely. Keep doing your thing. Says Tony, and it's hugely appreciated you being here, mate. And look forward to seeing you in the future. Hopefully, you do enjoy the replay of the match. It's going to be one of those games that is heavily talked about, I would say, for the Six Nations. And Six Nations best competition out there, says Finton. And too much politics in South African rugby, says Kerr. And remember, Ireland first in 2019, says Koketso. Also, ref was man of the match, Lyle, says Jester. Yeah, we did see 2 red cards, but other than that, it seemed like the discipline of both sides did calm down quite a bit at that point. Nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We will be back with plenty more Six Nations in the future. Next games are in 2 weeks' time. We will be covering them on the channel as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all for the next one.